Welcome to Dan ARG YouTube. Emmanuel Agbogun say Efcc wey dey for Edo State worst pass EndSARS. He say the amount of money wey Efcc dey ask from parents of the boys wey dem arrest for Edo State, all in the name of Yahoo boys. He say no be small money. Make I leave you now, make you hear from Emmanuel.
Oh, yes. Good morning. Good morning. A warm good morning to you all, my conscious Edo people. Yeah, at this very hour, it's now good afternoon to you all, my conscious Edo people. If you are fortunate to be on live with me, I want you to share this broadcast because I do not see a reason why truth should not be allowed to strive. Just immediately after this video I did a few minutes ago, which I will be downloading a screen record of that video for the world to see. Please, if you're live, I want you to share this broadcast and invite, because I'll be saying a whole lot of issues here this afternoon. People are currently extorting Edo youth and our poor parents in the guise of bail through the Efcc Zonal office, Edo State. If you are here watching with me, I want you to please share this broadcast. And while you're sharing, I want you to hashtag EFCC Nigeria. Hashtag EFCC Nigeria. Please, if you're literate enough to do that, I want you to please help me on this broadcast with commenting that hashtag on my comment section. I can see a lot of you who are my followers and who can actually do that for me. This very morning, I woke up to make statements as regards complaints we have received from some quarters of persons who at this moment are still under the detention facility of the EFCC office, Edo State. This is not the first encounter I myself is having with the EFCC, and I believe an injury to one is an injury to all. I'm always of the opinion that anything that is bad, and anything that is good is good. This very moment, we have 26 persons watching us live. I want you all to please share this broadcast, because I won't be spending so much time. I want you all to please share this broadcast. Share this broadcast and hashtag EFCC in any form you can, so that it will get to the authorities. Exactly, Isaac Omorige just did that for me. God bless you. I want each and every one of you to hashtag EFCC on my comment section. And also, if you're sharing this broadcast, which I'll be begging you to do, I want you all to please hashtag EFCC on your share comments before you share, your share tag post before you share this broadcast. Edo youths in large numbers are currently languishing in the EFCC cell over an offense they have committed that is bailable. I think these youths are poor and vulnerable because they cannot approach lawyers or litigating lawyers like Abakari is currently enjoying while in NDLA detention. As I repeat, please share this broadcast, share to pages, because what the EFCC Edo State Zonal office is doing is milking Edo youths in the guise of arresting and fighting internet fraud. They arrest these youths, they collect demand for bail as much as 1 million, demand for bail as much as 500,000, 350,000 currently, and the most painful part of it is that they deny these people their rights to solicitors, to lawyers of their own interests. they are insisting that the lawyers that these suspects in their detention must use are lawyers recommended to them by the EFCC and by the operatives of the EFCC. So sad enough that even as we speak, the parents of these people are made to go around looking for a means to generate 350,000, 500,000, 400,000 as bail grants. In fact, as I speak to Efcc Zonal office in Benin, is making more revenue to their pockets than the Oredo local government headquarters or local government authority that houses the EFCC building along the ever busy Court Road and Reservation Road off the GRA axis of Benin City. The entire daily revenue generated by Oredo is not up to what EFCC makes from the process of these Yahoo boys as bail on a daily basis. The properties of all the Yahoo boys who have been arrested, only God knows the whereabouts of some of these properties of these young persons that are currently being made to go through all forms of fundamental human rights abuses as it relates to crime. As you all know, in our laws, criminals have rights. They have a right to bail when the offense are bailable. As I speak to you, EFCC is now worse than the said Yahoo boys, because what they are doing is that they are demanding a share of the proceeds. And for some of us, we see that as administrative kidnapping, because for you to begin to demand ransom, for you to grant bail, it amounts to administrative kidnapping. That is the way some of us see it, because it's so bad that EFCC is not the one telling them the kind of lawyers to use. It's so bad that EFCC are today in Edo State is not demanding for monies that is bigger than most of their salaries, annual salaries put together, monthly salaries put together annually, for a bail of a young man who is indulging in crime to see if he can earn a living out of the high level of unemployment that is being greeted across the country. So bad that the EFCC have now seen this venture as a very, very marketable tools to enrich themselves. It is also in the news how you saw how an EFCC official detained a taxi driver, all in the bid that the taxi driver arrested him. It was on this social media that we cried out. Comrades stood firm to ensure that justice prevailed. However, I'm not in the state now, but the numbers of calls, phone calls I have received from loved ones who their children are currently under the EFCC detention facility goes a long way to show how irresponsible, how criminal oriented, how wicked, and how extortive the EFCC officials in Benin EFCC Zonal office are currently extorting and meting out hardship, oppression on our people. If a past governor who has stolen billions of naira from our economy can be granted bail after 48 hours of his arrest, this person have stolen the common patrimony of the collective interest of a state to his personal use, will be granted bail. None of his properties seized. But an average EFCC young man who is exploiting the internet illegally to get a source of livelihood from other interested parties in his scam or whatever they call it to our economy, his properties will be confiscated. He will be locked up in cell and made to face all form of tedious conditions to get bail. Is that the justice that we say we want in our society? The EFCC will arrest. In fact, I want to cite an example of our immediate, of our past governor, Lucky Benejo. He was arrested by the EFCC recently, and he was granted bail in less than 48 hours. This is somebody who is being alleged of having misappropriated public funds to his own private consumption. But a young man who have not even made proceeds out of the crime he has indulged in, EFCC is busy demanding 350,000, 500,000, and the most painful part of it that they are forcing the families to patronize their legal aids or friends of their misappropriative tendencies. As you all know, bail is free. I find it very difficult to part away with 1 naira each time I'm being, called upon to solicit for a bail of somebody who have committed crime or who is into one issue or the other. The reason is this: because that money is not being accounted for by the police. That money is not being recorded for by the police. Rather, that money goes into the pockets of these monstrous, draconic, and extortive investigating officers of the law enforcement agencies, particularly the EFCC and the police. It is so sad. It is so sad today that despite the hard economic prospects that we are made to pass through, people who say they are fighting against internet fraud will end up defrauding families of suspects that they have arrested in their custody. As of today, as I speak to you, a lot of youths are currently under the detention facility of the EFCC, and the kind of monies that they are demanding for bail, only God knows whether Pharaoh Ramses, the Egyptian pharaoh that we all know, will demand for such amount of money for bail if he happen to be the EFCC that we currently have at the zonal level of Benin City, Edo State. I don't know how they parade their bail activities in the FCT or other zonal offices, but for what I'm rightly informed about and I'm saying, the EFCC Benin is worse than SARS. They are currently extorting poor parents who, would not want their wards to continue to remain in detention facility, or because they have gone in search of greener pastures illegally. But we live in a safe society, even where a senior police officer like Abba Kyari is seen to be indulging in drug-related transactions and sales that are toxic and form of inducive substance to our youths to indulge in all forms of crimes like kidnapping, rape, robbery, and the rest. He is in court applying for bail and saying that it is fundamental human rights. Why young youths who are not even extorting the proceeds of our economic fortunes, but are actually seeing how they can extort or exploit those greedy persons who believe that their promises can last them a time? They are busy intimidating these youths, denying them of bail, when the offense that they have committed is explicitly, laid out in our laws that these are bailable offenses. Not until when they have concluded investigations and these people are granted bail. In the first place, the EFCC have violated their fundamental human right by not going to court to get an order to detain them for a lengthy period of time so that they can round up investigations. They are keeping these people all because they feel that they are being given the opportunity as EFCC agents, to investigate and arrest and prosecute people who have seen to have, been engaged or involved in this illicit internet scam. It is so sad today. It is so sad today that poor people are not the reason or the avenues for EFCC officials in Benin Zonal office to enrich themselves, demanding for draconic amounts of monies. Please and please and please, if you are a conscious Nigerian and you are watching this broadcast, please ensure you share this broadcast. The Efcc Benin Zonal office is worse than SARS. In fact, with what their activities are currently emanating to be in Edo State, they are worse. When I mean worse than SARS. So my conscious Edo people, an injustice to one is an injustice to all. Despite the high level of lamentation that some of us who are comrades have brought out to the public domain of land grabbers exploiting developers who want to come and genuinely develop the housing deficit of our dear state, EFCC has not taken it upon themselves to clamp down on these community youth leaders and chairmen and Odionways and Okaigilis who are selling people's sweat. What they are busy doing is to go about Yahoo boys who are not indulging to the kind of activities that we saw in Europe recently, where people were parading with firearms to rob banks. But what we are seeing now is that the EFCC in Benin, what they are doing, in fact, is worse than what IROT and SARS are doing to our people before the NSAS protests. We all know that all of these things have not been nipped. But what we are saying is that we should not give room for professional extortion. What we are seeing now currently is a high level of professional extortion that is being taking place and carried out by officials of the Efcc Zonal office Benin. So please and please, my conscious Edo people, an injury to one is an injury to all. I also want to beg our sister bloggers and all forms of media houses to please, put this information out there for the leadership of the EFCC to be aware. The conspiracy that is tied to the officials of EFCC in Benin, in fact, if investigated and prosecuted, I think their sentence will be worse than an average Yahoo boy who indulge in crime. Their actions are anti-people. Their actions are calling for a statewide protest to say no to this extortive tendency. If you are investigating a crime, investigate and follow the dictates of the law. Nobody is saying you should not catch an offender and prosecute him. We are not saying that. Get it straight. What we are saying is that do not begin to exploit them because they have committed crime. They also have a fundamental human right to be protected. So once again, we are using this medium to say that the leadership of the EFCC from the center should immediately swing into action to ensure that this rubbish is nipped on the bud. Bail is a right freely given by God and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It is not an avenue for corrupt officers to begin to exploit our people, and particularly poor Edolites who are, in the quest of searching for greener pastures via this Yahoo whatever that has greeted this generation as an opportunity for many to get a source of livelihood, to make money, to get a source of livelihood. I don't want to talk about their properties and whatever that are the proceeds of their crime that are being converted by EFCC officials to their personal use. What we are talking is that incarcerating these people unlawfully because the law says that you have 48 hours to investigate, except if the Administration of Criminal Justice Act as enacted is not applicable to the EFCC. Otherwise, we have no other option than to say the EFCC authorities should come to the aid of these people, these young Edo youths, before what happened during the EndSARS becomes the order of the day, where youths were protesting across the length and breadth of our streets and capital city of Edo State. And we all know the ripple implications of such acts. We are coming out now as comrades to not only fight for these vulnerable victims, but to also let the authorities know that their actions are triggering another spate of protest and insecurity in our dear state. Youths that have robbed the fortunes of the bank or proceeds of the bank that ought to be arrested are not arrested. But the ones that are going about the activities that are not towing to arms, what the security agencies are doing to them, I believe they cannot do to a politician who have stolen so much from our economy to his own private gains. Once again, I came up earlier to say certain things on my live broadcast, but I discovered that that broadcast was reported and it was turned down. So I'm out here again to repeat same, to ensure that the enlightened people in our society preach truth and consciousness to the authority of the Efcc that are currently occupying the Efcc Zonal office Benin and using it as an avenue to extort and make monies for their own personal gains. Before I leave, I can see somebody is here laying abuse, or I don't know if it's on me, but I just want to conscientize you. This Bryce, I just want to conscientize you that with time, you will understand that an injury to one is an injury to all. Once again, I remain no other person than your noble right activist, comrade, Bogu Emmanuel. Please and please share this broadcast. Share this broadcast. Thank you and bye for now.
Now we don't hear from Emmanuel Agbogun. Let us know what you think for this matter. Go to comment section, make you put your own. If you never subscribe to Dan ARG YouTube, try make you subscribe so that make you for the hear all the things where they happen for Nigeria. Make I leave you now with this video, make you help us share them. Thank you for watching Dan ARG YouTube.